This is called lying. There's a difference. Because how to win friends and influence people, you could take a different approach. Here, he says what?
Scroll down, Rob.
Go scroll down, Rob.
I offered it.
He said, I turned it down. You never did. You asked for a private jet. So don't lie, Tim.
Patrick Bet-David and Tim Pool are going at it on social media, and Patrick Bet-David just dropped a nuke on the whole thing, just kind of settling it all, just kind of ruining Tim Pool's whole argument against Patrick Bet-David in this situation. Let's check out this tweet here from Patrick Bet-David that kind of started the whole thing. It's official. Both Chris Cuomo and comic Dave Smith have agreed to do a sit down with a live audience on the PBD podcast on May 31st at 6 p.m. This guy says, take notes, Timcast. Win your fans back by having/hosting the important debates. Tim Pool responds to this Patrick Bet-David tweet and says, actually, I was asked to do the debate and turned it down. So he wants to make everyone think that he was asked to do it and turned it down, and that it wasn't just, it just wasn't him not wanting to do debates like this. It wasn't him not being offered to do this, whatever the case is. Then he actually got ratioed on this. You can see 301 replies to 274 likes on this. Patrick Bet-David responded to this in real time and said, turned it down. Our team and your team spoke. Your booker said he wanted us to fly you down in a private jet, which was strange, especially after I attended your paid event in Miami for free. Let us know if you want to see the email exchange. I'll wait. Tim Pool responded to this. This is very sassy from Patrick Bet-David for sure. You could tell that Tim Pool requesting a private jet to get him flown down is, that rubbed him the wrong way. It kind of would rub me the wrong way as well, especially with the amount of money that Tim Pool makes. I feel like Tim Pool could probably just afford his own private jet, but maybe I don't want to pocket watch too much. Anyway, Tim Pool then replies to that and says, yeah, I turned it down because it's impossible for me to fly there. I didn't say I didn't want to do it. I want to call him out. I just can't afford to fly to Miami on a Friday night or make it in time if I fly out Saturday morning or fly in Saturday morning. I got no beef, says Tim Pool. And that was kind of the end of that exchange there. But like I said, Patrick Bet-David kind of dropped a nuke recently that just put Tim Pool's whole argument to bed here. And I mean, you can see a lot of people in the comments are siding with Patrick Bet-David over Tim Pool in this whole thing. Kanye warned us about Tim when he walked off his show. You've become such a joke, Tim. I think they own Tim now. Whatever they got him on, a complete U-turn. I don't know. What are you guys thinking so far about this Tim Pool versus Patrick Bet-David beef? Let's check out this clip here from the PBD podcast where Patrick Bet-David and the rest of the Valuetainment crew kind of just address this thing head on and put it to bed, in my opinion. Let's check this out.
Me saying Tim Pool just said, so if you can pull this up, Rob, which is kind of, I don't know what Tim is going through, and if he's trying to find a way to create beef for himself. I don't know what it is. We don't process a lot of how Tim is processing this. A guy comments and said, take notes, Timcast. Win your fans back by having and hosting the important debates. He responds, actually, I was asked to do the debate and turned it down. First of all, we never asked you to do this debate last week. We spoke to you on March 25th, which was when you called us out.
If you enjoy content like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Or having Chris Cuomo being one of our talent that's going to be doing podcasts and different shows with us. You were not happy. You said it was, what was his words? He says something effing dumbest effing decision ever. He said something like that, if I recall.
He didn't have nice words.
No, but by the way, totally fine. I think he's actually a very talented guy, and he does a good work. He does very good work. He's actually a very smart guy. We've had him on before. Mm-hmm. But Tim, I just put this on Twitter, and I said the following. I said, hey, question mark, if you want to pull up my tweet, Rob, because and I got Rob right here who spoke to.
How do you guys feel about the Chris Cuomo hire now at Valuetainment with Patrick Bet-David? A lot of people, whenever Patrick Bet-David first hired Chris Cuomo, everybody was having meltdowns about it. Like people like Tim Pool were going after him, saying it was the dumbest decision ever, like Patrick Bet-David just said there. Honestly, I kind of like it now. In retrospect, I don't really watch the PBD stuff too much. There's just so many people out there to watch. There's nothing against him specifically, but there's just so many people out there to watch that I can't watch everything. But it is getting a little bit old just hearing the same talking points over and over and over. Like everybody agrees with each other. Like you go watch a Tim Pool podcast, every once in a while he'll bring on a guest that he disagrees with. And by the way, I like Tim Pool stuff. Like his show is very high quality. He knows his stuff. He does his research. I appreciate it. But a lot of times it's just people that just agree. Like everybody, they do a roundtable discussion and everybody just agrees. And it's just like, it's boring, I wish more people would go out of their way to hire people who disagree, like Chris Cuomo, like Valuetainment hiring Chris Cuomo. That's just how I view it. Let me know in the comments what you think.
Vanessa, your person, go to my last tweet. I said, actually turned it down, ? Our team and your team spoke on March 25th. Your book has said you wanted us to fly you down in a private jet. No one's ever asked that, which was kind of a strange request, especially after I attended your paid event in Miami. You asked me to do, and I asked you for nothing. It was a favor. So it's kind of weird to say, I come to your event with Matt Gaetz and others, and it was free, and you made money that night, and we ask you to come and have a conversation after you say it's the worst effing decision, and you say this. So let me know if you want me to share the email exchange. And Rob, I think you communicated, so you want to kind of give any commentary on this?
Well, we did. We tried. It's difficult to figure out the first class jet issue. We weren't looking, that's not in the budget for the event that we had. So what we offered was, what we normally offer, round trip accommodations, a business or first class flight, a hotel. When they said that they needed the private jet, we offered to do the podcast on a different day and time so that he could fly down.
Yeah, dude, that's nuts. If they're offering to fly you first class, round trip, accommodations, probably paying for his hotel, everything. They're offering to do that, and you're like, nah, I need a private jet. I mean, come on, dude. That is pretty wild. Unless there's a specific reason why he needs a private jet that they're not bringing up. Like maybe he gave a specific reasoning. Tim Pool said to Patrick Bet-David's team, hey, I need a private jet for this specific reason. But it sounds like he might have said that, and then they offered to move the date, and he still was like, nah, I need a private jet, or I'm not coming. Like, that just seems a little bit high maintenance.
Down on a commercial plane, but still keep his recording schedule and come work with us and do the podcast. Mm-hmm. And they continued to insist after multiple times that they just wanted the private jet. So that was the negotiating.
Well, he does live in a city that's not located near a big airport. I mean, literally, I think he's somewhere out in West Virginia.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have been on Tim Pool's podcast, and every single time I ask them about it, how was your experience? Their first thing they always say is, dude, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's out in the boonies. Every single time, that's the first thing they say. And then, by the way, afterwards, they always say, Tim Pool is a super accommodating host. Like, they always love the way they're treated whenever they go on Tim Pool's podcast. And yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Tim Pool, the person. It's just some things that he's been saying recently, some decisions he's made, and some opinions that he's had. They seem off brand. It seems like Patrick Bet-David said, he might be going through something. I don't know.
Him, I'll say a bunch of nice things and maybe something you should look into. Smart, opinionated, gets views, very capable, but book recommendation, maybe you read How to Win Friends and Influence People, because there's better ways to navigate relationships.
That's the most passive aggressive way to say that you're an asshole ever. I'm gonna steal that one. Hey man, book recommendation for you: How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's the most passive-aggressive way to say you're an asshole I've ever heard.
This is not how to win friends and influence people. This is called lying. There's a difference. Because how to win friends and influence people, you could take a different approach. Here, he says what?
Scroll down, Rob.
Go scroll down, Rob.
I offered it.
He said, I turned it down. You never did. You asked for a private jet. So don't lie, Tim. Just say that you wanted us to pay for a private jet. And of course, we're not going to pay for a private jet. Here's what I want to tell you. The announcement is both Dave Smith and Chris Cuomo have agreed to a debate.
That's
yes.
great.
May 31st, Friday night, 6 to 9 p.m.
Friday night fights at
6 to 9 p.m.
That is sick.
Okay? 6 to 9 p.m. Wow. It's official.
I mean, are you guys going to watch this? Personally, I don't give a shit. I'm not watching this. I don't care about Dave Smith. I don't really care that much about Chris Cuomo. I just don't. I don't care. So I'm not going to watch it. I mean, maybe this is exciting for some people out there. Back to the Tim Pool versus Patrick Bet-David thing, though. Why didn't they just do something where they went and got a price for a first class flight, and then they said, Tim Pool was like, I need a private jet, and then Patrick Bet-David just comes back with, cool, we'll pay you the amount that it would cost for a first class flight, and then you pay the difference for the private jet. Obviously, that's going to be a whole lot of money, right? The difference is going to be a ton of money for Tim Pool. But if he really needs a private jet that badly and he feels so entitled to the private jet, maybe he should just pay for it himself. I know that sounds like me being an asshole, but if you need it that badly and you want to actually host a debate that badly, then you would probably be able to just, afford the difference. I feel like that's fair. You're willing to pay for Tim Pool's hotel if he needs to stay overnight. You're willing to pay the price of a first class round trip ticket, and he pays the difference for the private jet that he obviously really needs to have so he can get back for his schedule. I think that would be fair.
It'll be at our comedy club that we have, $59.90 live. And this is going to be what the people want. The people from the establishment who don't want to see this conversation take place, they're going to do everything in their power to prevent this from taking place.
Fauci being one of them.
Whoever it is.
Yeah.
They're going to be watching. Within seconds of making this announcement, I guarantee you messages are being sent saying, are you out of your flipping mind? For those of you guys that haven't yet registered for this, just go to $59.90 live, buy tickets.
I mean, I think that's just kind of them overhyping this thing. I don't think anybody's going to be shutting this down. Maybe I'm just completely out of touch here, but I don't think many people care. And I don't mean to be a dick. I'm glad that Patrick Bet David and Valuetainment are trying to host, cool conversations between people who actually disagree, host debates and stuff like that. That's cool. Personally, don't really care about Dave Smith versus Chris Cuomo. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Do you think Tim Pool's in the right, or do you think Patrick Bet David's in the right? I think Patrick Bet David here I think it's pretty obvious that, he's in the right. And this video right here was a good little quick video to kind of just put this whole thing to bed and show everybody, like this whole thing, like we didn't do anything wrong here. This is Tim Pool being unreasonable, and I think it's very obvious to most people now. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this Patrick Bet David versus Tim Pool situation.